Welcome back to the channel. We continue our journey through the Black Forest and visit Wolfach, which, like many other villages we have visited, lies on the banks of the Kinzig River. As for parking in Wolfach, you will have no problem, as it has a large and free parking near the railway station, located only about 300 meters from the old town. Wolfach, which, as we say, is on the banks of the Kinzig River, has about 6,000 inhabitants and as a curiosity in Gengenbach, a village that forms part of Wolfach, has its origin the pompen hat or Wallenhut, which is part of the traditional costume of the women of the Black Forest. Access the old town of Wolfach by the gate of the castle, one of the largest south of Baden, in which in addition to the courts, different administrative offices and the police station, we will find a museum in which all the history of the town is exposed. From the castle we access the Hauptstrasse or Main Street, in which we will enjoy the typical buildings of the Black Forest. Among these is the town hall, rebuilt in the year 1895 in neorealist style after a fire, and in which you will also find the tourist office. We continue along the main street to one of the bridges over the Kinzig River, where we can delight with the row of beautiful houses built along its shore. Very close to the city bridge, we can visit the Catholic Church of San Laurentius, built in the 13th century and subsequently expanded in the 14th. From the church and following the banks of the Kinzig River, we find a fountain, the Narrenbrunnen, in which we find several carnival figures, a party in which Wolfach has a great tradition. From the fountain in Narrenbrunnen, we cross the Kinzig River again by a small bridge, and before returning to the parking we lost in their streets, marveling at the decoration of their houses. Following the course of the Kinzig River, we arrive at our next destination, Gengenbach. As for parking, there will be no problem, as we will have a large and free parking near the cemetery, and that allows us to visit the old part, giving a pleasant walk of less than 400 meters. Gengenbach, which has 12,000 inhabitants, has the beauty typical of the southern villages of Germany, and therefore has been chosen as the backdrop of several films, such as Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. We access the city by the gate Oberta, but just before crossing the door, we are noticed by a narrow and precious street, which we walk by enjoying its precious houses. At the end of this street, we do not turn towards the main street, but enjoy walking another street as beautiful as the previous one. Here, by surprise, we find the home of some compatriot who looks proud of their origins. Now we turn to Victor Street, which is the main street of Gengenbach, and in which the Tower Oberta stands to the bottom, whose doors we do not get through. In this street we admire, according to tourist guides, one of the most beautiful villages in Germany, and turned into a movie dish in more than one occasion. In this story scenario we find the town hall, which presumes to be in itself the largest seat calendar in the world, as its 24 windows are opening day by day as Christmas Day approaches. Something that we left for a next visit at Christmas. The municipality is located on the market square, which has been celebrated in this place for more than 500 years, and where we find the curious fountain of the market, where a proud 12th century stone gentleman holds the shield of the city. From the market square we continue our visit by the Hauptstrasse, the main street. A curious street in the shape of U, which crosses the market square. In it we can see among others the Nigelturm, which houses inside the Narrenbrunnen Museum, which translated would be something like the Museum of Fools, and which is dedicated to the carnival parties, in which Gengenbach has a great tradition. At the other end of the street, we find the Kinzig Tower, which is the main entrance to the city, and which allows access to Gengenbach through an arch that preserves its Leven trail. We continue our visit through several streets, passing alongside the Church of Santa Maria, a three-navy church built in 1120 and whose Baroque Tower of the Bell is visible from all over the village. And so we ended our visit to this beautiful village, whose fame as a tourist place has more than deserved within the Black Forest.